What's up, Internet? It's Sunny, and today we're going to be talking about ESPN. I was a huge fan of ESPN back before they went full social justice warrior. They just recently laid off a bunch of people, including Ed Werder. Ed Werder was the guy for the NFL. I mean, I liked his work, but they laid him off, and it's a tragedy, basically. So, I don't know if you've noticed, but the sports world is getting into the SJW, feminist, whatever it is, lately. And it is becoming apparent now because, I guess in a Virginia game, University of Virginia had their first football game. Or it's coming up, basically. And ESPN decided to pull one of the announcers. His name is Robert Lee. They decided not to put him as the announcer in the game because of the whole Charlottesville thing. And here's what it says in the New York Times article. It says, ESPN has removed an announcer from its broadcast of the University of Virginia's first football game next month because he has the same name as a Confederate general memorialized in statues that are being taken down across the country. The network announced late Tuesday that the announcer Robert Lee, a part-time employee who calls about a dozen college football and basketball games a year for ESPN, would no longer participate in the broadcast of the September 2nd game in Charlottesville, Virginia, which became the center of violent clashes in this month during a white supremacist gathering. First of all, I can't read. I keep stuttering and stuff, so that's whatever. But you're going to prevent this guy from doing his job. I understand that the circumstances couldn't align any more perfectly. There was a white supremacist rally regarding a Robert E. Lee statue in Charlottesville, Virginia. University of Virginia is in Charlottesville. You have an announcer named Robert Lee, who is more than likely not a white supremacist. And yet you're going to say, oh, wait, your name might trigger people, so don't do your job in Virginia that day. So what I'm trying to figure out is why give that name any power? It's just a name. Robert Lee is just a name. And for ESPN to go full SJW on this and, appease these anti-fascist, little snowflakes. I mean, literally, they are trying to make sure that people's feelings won't get hurt. And it's just a name. That's all it is just a name. So, ESPN, you used to be so respected in the sports world. I mean, like I used to listen to you, I live in Dallas, and ESPN radio was like all I listened to back in the day. All I listened to was ESPN radio. I didn't listen to anything else, honestly. Anything else. Now I don't listen to any radio. I don't. But I mean, you had such great programming. I mean, you still kind of do. I mean, ESPN First Take was something that used to be good, but just ESPN is going down the tank when it comes to viewership and all that other stuff. I mean, even like your news channel, it's got like programming for like virtue signaling and racism and all these other like SJW topics. Like, what happened to you, ESPN? We don't want to see about this stuff. I mean, NBC did it to NBC Sports when Bob Costas went on that rant about, I don't know what it was about, but I mean, everyone was talking about it. I can't remember what it was.
Our current gun culture, Whitlock wrote, ensures that more and more domestic disputes will end in the ultimate tragedy, and that more convenience store confrontations over loud music coming from a car will leave more teenage boys bloodied and dead. Handguns do not enhance our safety. They exacerbate our flaws, tempt us to escalate arguments, and bait us into embracing confrontation rather than avoiding it. In the coming days, Javon Belcher's actions and their possible connection to football will be analyzed. Who knows? But here, wrote Jason Whitlock, is what I believe. If Javon Belcher didn't possess a gun, he and Cassandra Perkins would both be alive today.
They said in a statement, ESPN said in a statement, that we collectively made the decision with Robert to switch games as the tragic events in Charlottesville were unfolding, simply because of the coincidence of his name. In that moment, it felt right to all parties. It's a shame that this is even a topic of conversation, and we regret that who calls play-by-plays for a football game has become an issue. It shouldn't be an issue. It shouldn't even be a question. Just because he shares a name with someone that fought for the losing side doesn't mean he should be affected by his job. Like if someone was named Adolf and they were a champion in free speech, or maybe they were just a regular guy and and their name is Adolf, and maybe all down the line people in his family, maybe he's like Adolf the 15th or something like that. Who knows? Is it going to be punished for having the name Adolf because it shares the name with Hitler, Adolf Hitler? You're going to punish him just because of his name? That's not right. And that's kind of discriminatory. You're discriminating on him based on his name. On his name. His name. These things shouldn't surprise me because stuff like this keeps happening over and over and over again. But yet, I am always surprised at the actions of major corporations and major establishments and their way of trying to make things right makes things wrong. This is wrong. For you to affect someone's job just because of his name. He couldn't control his name when he came out of his mom's womb and was born, and they're like, we're gonna name him Robert Lee. They weren't thinking down the line that this is gonna affect his life, because it has. He was probably very excited to call the Virginia game. Virginia may have a very good football team, and he could have had a one-liner like boom goes the dynamite, or something memorable. That could have happened to Robert Lee, but no. You decided to take away his chance of calling a game. That's his job. I know it's a part-time job, but I think this whole thing, we need to stop giving attention to white supremacists, and we need to stop giving attention to Antifa. We need to just ignore them all. This would all go away if we don't give them the time of day. It worked for so many decades. We didn't give the KKK the time of day. We didn't give white supremacists the time of day, and their numbers dwindled. And now we're giving them all this attention, and their numbers are just going to grow because you keep giving them the attention that they want. So stop it. ESPN, you did wrong. I can't believe that you would stoop so low to try to appease the smallest of the smallest people. Like, there's not a lot of people worried about his name right now, but now it is because it's trending on Twitter and stuff. It's really ridiculous. So what are your thoughts about the whole ESPN debacle with Robert Lee? I think it's utterly ridiculous, but I'd love to know your thoughts. What do you think the reasons are behind it? I know what they said and I know what I said, but what do you think? So if you're new here, please subscribe, and to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for sticking with me and supporting me. Just by watching and sharing these videos, you help get my work out there. My main goal is to wake up black folks. That is my main goal. The people who are stuck on this mentality of, oh me, you owe me and all this other stuff. So please share my videos to all of your black friends and everyone else who might be thinking in an SJW type of mind. So that's it, guys. Have a great day. I'll go do the same. Bye.